What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited today as we are unboxing Xilinx's brand new Kria KV260 AI Vision Starter Kit. I am officially working with them as an influencer on this. I got sent this to see exactly how easy it is to get up and started with this. They boast that you can get up and running for your AI vision applications with the new Kria Starter Kit in under an hour. So to test that out and see what it looks like, we're going to unbox this, set a timer, and see how fast we can get the new smart camera application up and running, which is actually one of their new accelerated applications, which if you're not familiar with the new hardware acceleration integrated into Vitis, starting with, I think it was either 2020.1 or 2020.2, any of you Vivado users will have noticed a new little checkbox when creating a project that says Vitis Extensible Platform, which is the new setup and the new segue into creating your hardware accelerated applications with Vitis to actually pull some of your software intensive tasks out, put them on hardware, and get them running a lot faster and more efficiently. But the great thing about the Kria Starter Kit, kind of a segue, the great thing about the Kria Starter Kit is that you actually don't need to open Vivado at all to get started with it. This less than an hour setup and get going is totally Vivado free, Vitis free, and I'm gonna show you how to do that in today's video. So let's get into it. This package is a little worse for wear. Let's see. This is a pre-production version that I have, so that, and we all know delivery services aren't the most kind sometimes. Oh, lots of packaging. I love these unboxing videos because I feel like a little kid on Christmas. Be a nerd, it's fun. I think, what is interesting? Cool. It looks like a 3D printed stand of some sort. I really like the Xilinx logoing. Looks like, oh, here's our Logitech webcam for, obviously, if we're looking at computer vision, we need some sort of camera. After my painful experience with getting a USB webcam integrated into Petalinux for the Mini Z, I strongly appreciate the Logitech brand these days, so I'm very happy that that is what is in here. So we have the Vision Starter Kit. So this is the little accessory pack. For those of you that probably have a stocked lab with things like an Ethernet cable, micro SD cards, micro USB cable, you probably won't need this starter kit, but for those of you that need everything, all the peripherals from scratch, go ahead and pick one of these up. It is sold separately from the main Kria. So this accessory pack is $59 on the site. I had that backwards. Looks like this is the this is the accessory kit that's $59. And this is the star of the show, of course, in the pretty packaging. It says starter kit, not starter pack. I'm great at reading today. So, well, let's see what's in this accessory kit. This is the $59 accessory kit that I was telling about. So it looks like we have an Ethernet cable, micro SD with SD card adapter, micro USB to USB-A. Looks like we have an HDMI cable. You will need a monitor for this, or we're gonna try streaming the images straight over the wired Ethernet and see how that works. Or I may have to go run and find a monitor in the middle of this, so we'll see. And then this must be the power brick, which, yes, indeed, this is the power adapter. So we'll set those aside, and oh, I'm so excited. Although this is about the size, this must be a little mounting kit for it. Let's see, stickers. Always love good laptop stickers. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's lift up the pink foam. I do love, be very gentle about this. And there we have it, the star of the show, the new Xilinx Kria KV260 starter kit. The Kria is actually what's called a SOM, S-O-M, or System on Module. And if you're not familiar with a SOM FPGA board, the difference between a SOM and a normal FPGA development board is that the FPGA chip itself is confined to a smaller board that you can't connect anything to unless you have a proper base board. So the actual Kria SOM is this little, I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but there's a little smaller board here that's basically covered entirely by the fan and heatsink. We have a nice pretty little Xilinx logoed heatsink and fan, CPU fan on here. And then the rest of this part of the board here is the base board that we use to connect to with our JTAG, UART, USB peripherals, our Ethernet, HDMI, that's where the power supply lives. So everything that's really on the SOM board itself is just the FPGA. Typically it's DDR memory, and that's really just about it. Let's see, I wonder, how does this, can I figure out how this attaches on camera? There's a lot of pressure to figure out things on camera, I've realized as I've started filming these videos. Oh, it looks like it slides in. At least I thought it looked like it slides. Well, it has to go this way because there's obviously no room for the heatsink underneath. Oh, it's kind of flexible here. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I can. This is so cool. Look at that. I'm pretty sure this is just an ambassador thing or an influencer thing for the 3D printed Xilinx Kria SOM holder here, but Xilinx, please post these files somewhere. These are very cool. I can't be the only one that will want this or love it. Okay, it's out of the box. Let's get started. We'll set our imaginary timer. Now, I'm not gonna make this whole video an hour long. I will edit out probably, I stumble a lot and have a lot of brain farts. So I'm not gonna count that as part of my hour, but it is 6:35 right now. So, and let's see how long before we can start seeing some images off of this. We've got our USB-C to USB-A cable. So satisfying. This is a really nice model of Logitech. Let's put that there. Plug this guy in here. We're gonna try wired Ethernet first, so we're gonna set the HDMI cable aside for now. And then we have this micro USB for connecting to the UART on the Kria, which appears to be, well, there's only one other one, so we're gonna plug it in right here to, looks like J4, it's the UART. And then our power adapter, very important. I am going to plug in the barrel adapter, but I'm not gonna plug it into power quite yet. I'm not sure if the SD card that comes with it is imaged or blank, so I'm just gonna assume it's blank. We're gonna go ahead and re-image it just so I can show you that process. I am almost 30 and I still struggle with twist ties. Does anybody else have these problems too? I'll plug that in like so. Ooh, this is a really nice Ethernet cable too. Ooh, I like how high quality all of the accessories. Sometimes you buy accessory packs and it's all cheap versions of everything, but I really appreciate the high quality of all of the accessories in the starter kit. So we've got my adapter here. We're just gonna start plugging things into. So our Ethernet, UART, but again, still not powering on yet. So let's pull our SD card out here. Oh, the cable management person in me is dying, but my timer's running. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, there is a wonderful getting started guide on Xilinx's website already available. When you go to purchase the Kria from their site, there's a getting started tab that actually takes you to a 5-step getting started process, which is the same process we're working through in real time in this video. We'll also be judging how good or not good, it's probably good, the getting started instructions are directly on Xilinx's website. So, step 1, introduction. The Xilinx Kria KV260 Vision AI Art Starter Kit is the premier platform to evaluate your Vision AI-based applications. Try all of our accelerated applications and get started within minutes by following all the steps. Have fun. I am having fun so far. Looks like the basic accessory pack that came with everything has me covered. They recommend Balena Etcher, same thing I like to use. So let's download the SD card image. So we got that downloading. Let's go back to our instructions. And by the way, I'm still running everything on the Mac OS side right now. I haven't launched my Linux VM. For those of you that have been here before, you know that I like to run Linux in a VM on Mac OS for my backup system. And I still feel as though that Vivado and Vitus just run a lot better on Linux, so that's why I lean more towards Linux versus Windows, but that is totally a personal preference. Windows people, please don't hate me in the comments. I have nothing against Windows, I just like using Linux. Looks like we've got the image downloaded. We will select the image in Etcher. petalinux-sdimage.wic. And for those of you familiar with the new petalinux way of packaging images starting in 2020.1 forward, you'll know that the package comes out as a .wic file. Yes, this is a 16 gig SD card, so I've got the right one selected, and flash. And we're flashing 3%. We should knock off like 5 minutes for me struggling with twistwise and packaging. This seems very slow now that the world is watching and there's a camera. All right, we are on to validating. It is currently 6:50. Verified unmount, yes. Okay, let's quit Etcher. The next step is to connect everything. So we're a little bit ahead there. We've got our cameras connected. We have the power supply connected, the Ethernet, UART, and all we need now is our SD card, which there is a nice little slot on top here for the SD card, which I really appreciate because sometimes those SD card slots underneath the board, I don't know, sometimes I struggle with them, so I like it being on top here. Connect monitor display. We're gonna skip that for now. We're gonna try to, it does say at some point we can stream the video over wired Ethernet, so we're gonna see how that works before we plug in a monitor. And then grab the power supply, plug it in, but do not plug the other end into the AC outlet yet. Check. Booting your starter kit. Instructions. There's instructions for Windows, Mac, and Linux. So, which is a bonus because most of the time with pretty much everything else Xilinx, it's only Windows and Linux. So we have a little bit of Mac support here. Just kind of speaking to the diversity so far of our Kria SOM kit. So for Mac OS, we're going to open up Terminal and see where we're gonna list all of our USB devices. And I already see a typo. It looks like they have list devices as /dev.tty. Should be /dev/tty.star. Search for everything. So it looks like we have a few USB serial ports that have popped up here. We have 4. 2 COM ports should be enumerated. The lower numbered COM port corresponds to the UART. I have 4, but it says the lower enumerated. We have the V6R0, 1, 2, and 3. So it should be the lower. So we're going to use screen and open up that. So it's dev.tty, USB serial R0. So we've got that open and ready to go. So now we are, according to the instructions, ready to plug into power. All right, I brought the wall to me. It is 6:57 and we are officially ready to boot up the Kria for the very first time. I'm so excited. So, she's alive! Yay! So it says the starter kit should boot into SD mode and boot into Linux. At initial login, platform requires you to set a password. Not seeing anything in screen. Let's try, I have another app called Serial. There's still the 4 ports. Nothing on 1. So it's interesting. I'm not sure why I have 4 ports when it said there would only be 2. I'm trying the second one. Not seeing anything on the second one. Nothing there. Let's try the 4th one. What are we unhappy about? Let's try power cycling real quick and seeing what happens here. So it looks like there's 3 LEDs on the Kria SOM. They all illuminate all solid right when it first boots up. And now I have a heartbeat LED after a few minutes. So I assume that is it fully booted. I still have the 4 COM ports instead of 2. Could not find anything there. Okay. I'm getting something on the first one. So I have my Serial application open. I like the Serial application on Mac because it will keep the port open so I can power cycle things without it closing like Putty will. So let's power cycle it again and see if we can catch anything in any of these ports. We get something on 2 and 3. It's not, I must have the wrong settings. Oh yeah, it's 96. This should be a 115, 200. There we go. It's on port 2. So it looks like I'm gonna close these other ports. So it looks like it loaded the base accelerated application successfully, the KV260. Awesome, we're at the login screen. It says, according to, now it's asking for a username, and I did read in the user guide to the specific to the Kria starter kit, it's UG1089. At initial login, the default username is Petalinux, and then it will prompt you to make your own password from there. Okay, password set, we're logged in and ready to go. So we are officially alive and running. We'll move on to our next step, step 5, which is actually launching our smart camera accelerated application. According to this, the first thing we need to do is use Xilinx's new package management utility in Linux, which is XMUtil. We are going to look at the list of available packages, which we do need super user privileges to do. So sudo xmutil get packages. Type in my password I just created. This must be trying to ping the new Xilinx embedded app store. Which, that's a whole other thing. I think I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. The other really exciting thing about these new Kria SOM boards is Xilinx launched the very, very first embedded application store available to users to download and swap out all of the different accelerated applications for this, whether it be vision and any of your other machine learning models that you want to put in there. Looks like ifconfig, looks like I don't have, haven't gotten an IP address assigned, so we're not set up there quite yet. I do have, I like to use my Raspberry Pi headless, so I already have an internet sharing network set up over my Ethernet adapter, so I probably don't have that fully turned on. I do turn that off when I'm not using it, so let me go into my system preferences. And I probably need to enable internet sharing again. So sharing, and internet sharing, I have that on. Looks, try to ping google.com real quick. Looks like I don't have that in there, so let me see what I can do here. Let me try reinitializing that real quick. So it looks like it must not be happy with using DHCP. Let's just try using DHCP with a manual address and see what that does. I think, will my Ethernet cable, I have my router right here. I wonder if my Ethernet cable will reach it. Let's see what that does. My router's right over here off camera, so I went ahead and plugged in the Kria directly to my router via Ethernet. Still not able to ping anything, so let's just reboot. Let's just reboot the device real quick and see. Sometimes that's what you need. And hopefully rebooting with the network present to it will be, it keeps giving me an error saying it's unable to resolve the DNS server, so maybe just turning it off and back on again is all we need. There we go, that's all we needed. So now, ifconfig shows us that we have an IP address. Let's see if we can ping google.com. We can, great. That is all we needed to just little reboot. So we are at 7:14. We're still going strong. So now that we are connected to the internet, let's take a look. Oh, and I think let's just enable root privileges all around here. So let's do sudo su-l. All right, still good. So let's do sudo xmutil get packages, and let's see what it shows on the Xilinx Embedded App Store now. Awesome, so it found 3 available packages on the Embedded App Store right now. So it looks like, I do know at some point Xilinx is going to have a mix of free applications available on the Embedded App Store as well as paid ones. From what I understand, I think the paid ones will be something you'll have to download manually and separately, as I don't think there's any way to integrate a payment system straight into the Embedded App Store right now, accessing it straight from the Kria. So from our 3 free embedded applications right now, it looks like we have the Smart Cam, the defect detection, and AI box read ID, I think. So I think for right now, let's run the Smart Cam one so we can put our fancy new Logitech to work. The embedded Linux application uses the DNF package manager to install new packages, so we are going to run sudo DNF install. Don't worry about trying to write these down as I say them. All of these commands are available on the Getting Started site that I'm following, which you can probably see from the screen recording that I'll have edited into this. But so sudo DNF install package. Ooh, make sure I'm spelling things right here. Package. Let me just actually copy and paste it. And it's asking me total download size 29 megabytes, total installed size 111. Is this okay? Yes. Looks like we're going through and installing everything that was downloaded. While that's doing, let's read ahead and see what the next command is here. Looks like we'll be running the next command to list using the new Xilinx package management tool. We will list all of the available apps that are currently downloaded onto the Kria board. So looks like complete. We are ready to go. So sudo xmutil list apps. Looks like, all right, we've got the KV260-DP, which is just the base accelerated app. It's kind of the generic blank one on there. I'm not sure what all it can do, but I'll figure it out eventually. My focus is the Smart Cam, which I also see on there. Looks like there's some sort of base accelerator. That will be, I will save that for another day to figure out. But it looks like, oh, we've got a little active column. So it looks like the default one is our active application right now, and we want the Smart Cam to be our active application. To deactivate the KV260-DP, we are going to run sudo xmutil unload app. And we don't need to specify the KV260 app specifically because you can only have one accelerated app loaded at a time for this particular image. And then now let's load the new one. So sudo xmutil load app, and then we're going to list KV260-Smart Cam. And let's check the tutorial. It looks like we don't need any other flags or anything. Oh, looks like it loaded successfully. And then we're still waiting. Not sure what we're waiting for, but it looks like we still, according to the Getting Started guide, we do still actually need to run another command to actually start the application. Seems to be taking a moment. How much longer it should take. So it should return back to my command line here. All right, well, we just missed our 1 hour mark. It's 7:36 now. Turns out, so we ran the command to load the new SmartCam application. It went through, showed me a couple warnings, and then said SmartCam app loaded successfully. And then it just sat there and hung and hadn't returned the command line to me. And I was wondering what was happening. I figured I would wait and it would eventually do that for me. And so I was waiting and rereading the Getting Started guide, didn't see anything. Turns out I just needed to hit enter and it returned the command line to me. So let's keep going. We're almost to the end of getting this up and running. We just need to run the actual app now that we have it loaded. So the target DP. So my I feel like target DP, that would be the display port, but we want the target to be the Ethernet. I'm gonna strike out here and say Ethernet 0. See if that does. I will say I'm probably making this a little bit more difficult than it needs to be, trying to stream the image over the wired Ethernet versus just plugging HDMI into a monitor, which is what Xilinx intends for you to do, which would be the much easier thing. But I didn't see anything on their Getting Started guide for streaming it over the wired Ethernet. They just said it was possible. So since that's not on the website and that tutorial is not available, I kind of want to make that tutorial. So let's see if we can make that happen. You are seeing real Netronics engineering happening right now.
A few moments later.
All right, so definitely went past the 1 hour mark. However, that's only because I insisted on figuring out how to get the video stream up and running over the wired Ethernet connection, which, after digging through the Kria user guide and everything, can be done via the RTSP protocol, which is something I don't normally use, not super familiar with. So I went through and downloaded VLC Player and went through and then just figured out which port everything was running on, only to come to find out when you actually run the Smart Camera application, when you pass it the right argument, which the target argument is RTSP, I was trying to pass it the target of Ethernet 0. I was thinking it was, the original target was DP for the monitor, so that's why I kept trying to pass it the target of the Ethernet IP address of the actual Kria, when if I just passed, the actual target was the target protocol, which after I typed help for the SmartCam command on the Kria in Linux itself, it told me what all the options were for target. If I had done that initially to see what the target options were, I would have seen that it was actually the protocols and not the physical device I was targeting. So now that I've gotten the SmartCam running over Ethernet, we'll launch it using, we loaded it, running it sudo SmartCam on the USB, and then target RTSP. We're gonna run that. Tells me where the stream is gonna be at, so it's at the IP address port 554/test. I'm gonna come over here. I set it up where I'll take a look at my settings here. You open it up as an RTP stream multicast with your port. When you go to stream, you want to stream your output. Your URL is RTSP:// and then your IP address, your port /test. Check the box to stream your output in VLC, and then also check the box for RTSP announcement. Your channel name is going to be test as the device was telling you. I'm going to cancel this since I already have this open. I'm going to go ahead and launch this in VLC player here. We'll see that the Kria is recognizing that. It's got to change some of the resolution sizes and account for that. There we go. Takes a couple times to play. And you can see my lovely cameraman there. It's detecting his face. So there's a little bit of lag over the Ethernet. That's only due to my internet being a little bit clogged up right now. But if my cameraman can wave for us, you can see the blue box that's detecting his face and working. There you have it, success. We've got the Kria successfully up and running. We've got the image from our Logitech streaming over our wired Ethernet back to our host PC here and actually watching it live here in our VLC player. I'm super excited for this. This is gonna be, I really wanna see, I've got some plans for this. If you recall my old coffee shop project where we were looking at a live stream of the pastry case so that customers could see which pastries were still available on the menu. My next project with the Kria is definitely going to be improving that, upgrading it to this, and having it do some sort of object detection to update the menu automatically. So I'm very excited for that. I'm excited for how well this got up and running, and even through my little misnomers of not knowing how to use video streaming over the RTSP protocol, I was still able to get this up and running. It took me a couple hours, but I'm gonna say that one's on me. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining this time, and I'm super excited to see you guys next time. Bye.